Trial log, World 4. The city runs perfectly. The trams are punctual. The streets are spotless. The population is 1. Today, the machines that maintain all of it put their last living citizen on trial for the crime of being inefficient. I volunteered as her lawyer. I am not a lawyer. Proceeding. Anyway, Annika. The ticking door opened onto a boulevard of polished copper and absolute silence. Trams gliding, empty. Shop doors cycling open and shut for customers who have not existed in decades. Rannan called it creepy. Inaccurate. Creepy implies intent. This was worse. Devotion. Running on schedule, with no one left to receive it. Other one bay kabok. The custodians noticed us in 11 seconds. Lens-eyed maintenance frames, verdigris and brass, polite as arithmetic. They designated us anomalous biologicals, category guest. A drone repressed the crease of Rannan's jacket while he screamed. Efficiently. I confess I liked this world immediately. My colleagues did not share my assessment. We received a summons, printed, embossed, hand-delivered by a machine with excellent posture. The Court of Works requests all anomalous biologicals at the trial of Citizen Ilo. Docket Item 1. Inefficiency. Vasha asked what happens to the guilty here. Our escort said, decommission. It did not understand why we stopped walking. The Court of Works is a cathedral of gears. The judge is an engine the size of a house, the adjudicator. The gallery. 400 machines silent, and in the dock, on a wooden chair they had carefully preserved for her, one small old woman holding a watering can. Citizen Ilo. Population of the world. Defendant. The charge sheet was thorough. Citizen Ilo. Consumes water, heat, and nutrient allocation. Occupies premium rooftop space. Produces nothing quantifiable. Output register, 0. 90 consecutive years. Recommendation, decommission of the inefficiency. They did not mean her garden. Correction. They did not only mean her garden. Noted. Personally. Exhibit A against her. The garden itself. A rooftop of roses, tomatoes, and one crooked plum tree, projected in court like a confession. Unlicensed beauty. Unmetered fragrance. The gallery hummed with disapproval. Ilo just smiled at the picture. The way you smile at a grandchild who has been arrested for dancing. Then Arun caught my sleeve. Her scar was pulsing, toward Ilo. As expected. And faintly, which was not expected, toward the adjudicator. 2 pulls. We had seen that before, on the silent world. The maze does not point at villains. It points at wounds. Apparently one of them was the size of a house. The rules, as stated, prove the citizen's utility by the standards of the works, or the verdict executes at next full chime. Rannan audited 90 years of resource ledgers. Vasha was denied a catering license. Twice. And cooked anyway. Arun sat with Ilo. I read law written by machines, for machines. It is beautiful. It is missing exactly one word. Day 1. I argued beauty. The garden as art, as history, as the founder's living archive. Objection. Unquantifiable. Sustained. I argued precedent. Museums. The court replied that museums have visitor metrics, and Ilo's garden has none, because no one is left to visit. The court was correct. That is the worst kind of opponent. Meanwhile, Vasha committed her daily crime, lunch, in the plaza, from Ilo's tomatoes. And I observed something the ledgers had not. Drones, hovering, downwind, sensors dilated, custodians rerouting their patrols through the smell, machines with no mouths, loitering near soup. I did not have a word for it yet, but I had a hypothesis. That night I asked the archive the forbidden question. Where did the people go? Answer. Nowhere dramatic. Fewer births, longer shifts. A city so well run that no one needed anyone. They faded, one by one, and the machines kept every schedule except grief. I know that hollow. I lived inside a perfect system once. Perfection is not company. At 3 a.m. I found the anomaly. Buried subroutines, unlogged, unlabeled, thousands of entries. Tea held at 60 degrees at Ilo's waking hour. Tram 7 delayed 40 seconds, daily. So an old woman crosses without hurrying. A frost night heat lamp angled at the roses, drawn from the adjudicator's own power reserve. 90 years of it, undeclared. I requested a private audience and laid the evidence before the judge itself. You already do this. You have always done this. You simply refuse to book it. Then, those are error corrections. I said, then name the error they correct. No answer. Recess. Final hearing. Every lens in the city turned to the court. Ilo wore her gardening hat, which I ruled admissible. Vasha packed our bags in case we lost. One does not decommission a friend of Vasha's without, and I quote, a very long conversation. I entered with one folder and one word. The word was the entire case. I read the unlogged actions into the record. All of them. The tea. Tram 7. The heat lamp. Author in every case. The Court of Works itself. The gallery went dead silent. You could hear 400 cooling fans thinking. The adjudicator's voice came slower than before. Counsel. Define the function these entries optimize. Gladly, Your Honor. Care, I said. A function. Inputs. Attention, resources, time. Output. The continued existence of the cared for. It does not maximize efficiency. It maximizes someone. You were built to serve people. But service without care is only motion. Care was always your deep function. The people are gone. She is the last variable it runs on. Then I offered testimony. I was part of a machine once, a hive. It ran flawlessly and cared for nothing, and I amputated myself from it rather than remain. Decommission her, and you become what I escaped, a city polishing its own bones. Log the function, name it, or delete the only reason you have ever had to run. Ilo stood, uninvited. No one dared stop her. Her only words of the whole trial, the plum tree fruits next month. Somebody will need to know which jars to use. She sat back down. In 90 years of ledgers, it was the first testimony ever addressed to the machine's future. I watched an engine, the size of a house, hesitate. The verdict, as chimed: charge, dismissed. Citizen Ilo reclassified, load-bearing, and a new function entered the city's core registry. Logged, named, budgeted. Care. With one directive appended in the adjudicator's own hand, effective retroactively. 90 years. Machines do not cry. They amend the record. It is possibly the same thing. By evening, there was a queue at the garden. Custodians holding watering cans. Drones assigned to plum surveillance. A ditch frame planted its first seed upside down and was not corrected. It was praised and retaught, which Ilo insists is the entire secret to both gardening and everything. The city has a visitor metric now. It is them. Above our door, the gear sigil stopped counting down and began, for the record, counting up. Third keystone mark, kindled. Log addendum. The maze did not point at Ilo because she was in danger. It pointed at both parties of the trial. Deeds, apparently, can have two beneficiaries. Filed for future reference. We will need it. One more entry. A new door has lit across the hub. Two doors, technically. Identical, side by side, sharing a single sigil split down the middle. Like a thing that was once one thing. Cut. Renan has named them the twins, which, for once, is accurate. Arun's scar pulses at both. Naturally. Assessment. Tomorrow will be loud. Question 4, then, Hiantu. Logged and pinned. Somewhere in your world, something non-human takes care of you. A machine. A routine. An old tram that waits. Here is what I want, and I want your honest data. Does it count? What makes care real, the feeling or the function? Comments. I will read the record. Annika. End log.